this tutorial, we will discuss how to use the JavaScript Fetch API. Okay, so we all know the meaning of API. API stands for Application Program Interface. So why is it that we need to use the fetch command? The purpose of this is to request the information, okay, request the data to a particular server. Okay, so in my previous tutorial we have discussing about this information, and this time we'll be using the fetch. So it is API because it is already part of the JavaScript library. Now if you ask me about what will happen to your XML HTTP request, so this is one of, of course, the old style of fetching the data in a server. So the question is, which is better, XML HTTP request or fetch? But again, it depends also to your application. So, well, fetch make it easier to make an asynchronous request and handle responses. Well, I don't know if this is better than compared to XML HTTP request, but again, I'm an avid fan of XML HTTP request. Okay, enough for this too much and the prolonged discussion. Which is better, fetch or the XML HTTP request? Again, it depends to your choice. No? Okay, let's start. So before you start with this fetch, using the fetch, because this is part of your application program interface in JavaScript, what is the first requirements here? Well, first you need to check first your browser. So you need to install the following. Okay, install this program or this server. You need to install the Apache server of any version. If you have the 64-bit, well, of course you can install that. Okay, so that's one of the requirements. Be sure also that your sump is running, just like this one. Now after you install your sump, control panel, all you have to do is to activate your Apache MySQL. You cannot run this fetch API without installing a local server, because fetch is running to request in your server. Okay, so fetch API provides a JavaScript interface for accessing and manipulating parts of the HTTP pipeline. So that's the purpose of the fetch class. Now let's go back. Okay, so the first thing first is we create a program for our data. So like for example, of course, for example, we need to fetch a local data in a server using our own version of server. This is 101.27.0.01. In short, this is your local host. Okay, so we can use this as part of our simulation to fetch the data. Okay, later we will write the data, but again, let's write first the program. Okay, so the purpose of this program is to fetch the information from the local host and display that in your screen. So this fetch is an eye-opener for you to request something bigger later on in your server, or maybe in your web host. Okay, or maybe in your cloud cloud data. Okay, or cloud repository. So to start with, first is you need to start with what? The HTML. Doc type HTML. Okay, so this is how we start the program. Then we have this HTML right here, and then we have force the head. So be sure that we put the title. Okay, so the title is fetching the data. Sorry about that. Then we have here slash title, and then, well, the purpose of this head is, of course, this is where we put later on all the information coming from your frameworks, the cascading style sheets, etc., etc. Okay, so that's the purpose of this thing. All right, so let us leave this first for a while, and then go right here. Now we will fuse the body right here. Okay, and at the same time, let us create the ID. Remember about the thing that we have discussed in JavaScript. Always remember that, of course, JavaScript is one of the best computer tool if you are creating an applications for your for the web. Okay, so later on we will create our own file to fetch and display it right here. Okay, so what's next? So we're gonna save first. We'll create first the ID here. For example, you have h2 ID is equals to what? Fetch data. Okay, this will be the ID. Fetch ID 1. Okay, and then we put here test data. Okay. So what's next? So next is we will create also our own version of our header right here. Okay, this is the indicator if really the server is working or not. So just like a decoy type of text, okay, fetch the data. Okay, this will be the title of our header. Next is to create the script. Okay, so this is how you create the script. All right, and we put here the slash script. So in the body, inside the body, you have the script and the slash script. And then again, we will create a function that will fetch the data in JavaScript. So you can use, if you are an advanced user, well, of course, you can automatically type and use the ECMA script right here using the arrow function. So let us start first with a very simple application, very simple script, so that the students and of course those who are aspiring to become a JavaScript programmer can understand the statement of the GS JavaScript. So let us start function. Okay, I will write a function here and then dips text, and then we will create the arguments. This is the file, of course. This is where we fetch the data later on. This is part of the arguments inside of this function. Okay, so we start it right here. Okay, and then after that, what will happen? So in fetching the data, we are there to just like we are reading the information with promises. So promises is to resolve or to reject the information. It calls the callbox. If the callbox is successfully accessed, then it will again provide information. Otherwise, it will provide, you know, a failure of displaying the data. Okay, so here we goes. So the first part is, of course, we need to use the function, or we can use what we use the async function. So what's the purpose of the async? So async is the asynchronous type of information wherein that's how you call the callback of the data. Okay, that's the asynchronous type. So let us use the async in the rest of our program. So we are using the async. Okay, and of course, aside from async, we'll be using the await. Await is used to what? Wait for promises. Okay, so those are the things. So what's the syntax for the promise? Because let data equals to new promise, and then you have here, of course, the following arguments. Like for example, we have here reject, and we have here resolve. Okay, so this is the pseudocodes for that. Okay, this is the pseudocodes for that. So if error, let's say, then you put here what? Reject data. Okay, otherwise, of course, you can put here what? Console.log resolve, something like that. And then you have to put it here. And then you have here the callback functions also. Okay, and then you can display not the data right here. Console.log.data. So these are the two things that will happen. Okay, I'm just writing only the pseudocodes class. So nothing formals here when it comes to syntax, just the pseudocodes. Okay, now let us continue what we have started in this block. So async function displays text. This is the function, and of course we have here the parameter. So what's next? We'll be using the variable let's say d1, any variable will do. Okay, and then we use the await. So await is to wait for the promise. Okay, so fetch. So await fetch. Okay, await fetch, and then after that, what will happen? We're gonna put here the file inside. So that's part of the parameter. Another, we will reference this variable to, we'll reference this variable to d2 equals to. Okay, that's how it works. So await for the promise of what? D1. Then let us display the text. So we have here the method for the text. So this will fetch the information coming from the parameters that will be fetched later on inside our local server, and then automatically will, of course, that's how we display the data. Okay, so this is how it goes. Now after that, this is about time that after we fetch this text, we store this text in D2 for result. So we can say document dot get element. Okay, get element by ID, Then you have here, you need to display this document object document in the h2 element. So we have to put the fetch, well, of course, id 1. Okay. After that point, inner HTML equals to d2. So this is now the text of that ID that will be fetched right here. Okay. After this, we will create a temporary file. Okay. Now this is how it works last, and then fetch ID, get to commit. Okay. That's it. Now, so we have it. We're almost done right here, and then we go to the top. So what is the purpose of the top? So we'll be using this get dips, this one. Okay, dips, what? Dips text, and then we'll create a file. So this file should be in the same directory of this program. Let's say dips.txt. So this will be the file. So let us write this file and of course save this in our local host. Okay, and then we have to save this. So we have /body and / what? HTML. So we have it there. So let us review what we have written. So we have the HTML right at the top, head. Of course, this is for your header, and at the same time we have the body, and of course we have the ID for the fetch ID, and we created the script. Okay, so we start first with the reservoir async function. This is to perform promises to the informations being fetched by this program. So this is a parameter. So we create two variables right here, and then we still waiting for the promises to be fetched. And of course we assign this information, this d1, with the method of text to d2 to be displayed. So when everything goes in the right direction, then we can fetch the information right here and display this at the top of our h2 element. Okay, let us save this program. So we'll have to save this program in our local host. So it's that local host. So we go to our sump and then go to httdocs, and then after that, so I have already written the fetch 1, fetch 2 right there. So we have to use this as what? Fetch, okay, data, fetch d1, okay, point what? HTML. So fetch d1 point HTML. We are not done yet. We need to write this code. We need to write this program. So if you want to write this program, okay, let us type notepad, and then from there, of course we can use h1, and let's say fetch API JavaScript programming. Okay, so this is the fetch API JavaScript programming. So let us add another information at the bottom. This is fun. Okay, so we are using the elements of h2 and h1 right here. Let us save this. So when we're going to save this, what will happen? We have to save this in this dips.txt. So we need to use the httdocs. This is where the sum is executed, and then we have to save this as .txt. So dips.txt. Okay, that's it. So we have saved that. Now let us test this program, if this program is working or not. So again, this is very crucial. This part is very crucial. Okay, this is the starting point of the code. At the same time, this is the end part of the code. These statements are part of these blocks under the dips text. So async function. This is to create asynchronous. Well, of course, the option is to create a callbox in the future. But again, this is in replacement for your XML HTTP request. Okay, just like you can use this for your AJAX application. Okay, so let us save this again, save, and then let's run this in our code. So we have to open first the code, the program right here. Okay, so we have it right here. So let us run it first. Okay, so let us test our server. So 127.0.0.0.1. Okay, so this is not secured now. We need to say, well, of course I have installed program here for the foreign software, just like Apache. So no worries, this is not a problem. So let us check first, of course, our program. So the program is fetch d1 point HTML. Let us check that. So there you goes. fetch the data, test the data. So this is the program, this text.txt. So what happened is we have, I think, an error right here. Okay, fetch the data, test the data. So we are not getting the data at the top. So we need first to display this text, this.txt. So we need to check this first if this is correct. So file, save as. Okay, let us test this. So this is under docs. So this is dips.point. Let us check the spelling if it is correct. Okay. So this is what dips.txt. File, save as. Okay. File, save as. And we have here dips.txt. So there you have it. Okay, let us check if it is right there. So sump is the docs. Then more dips.txt. So let's check. Okay, so we have it here dips.txt. Alright, let us run the program again and then check it. I don't know what happened, but let us check that dips.txt. Okay, let us modify this a bit. Alright, so this is dips text. Okay, .txt. So we have the file, text file. Okay, let us edit this first. Okay, let us edit this thing, and we are seeing this error because for this statement, this is not part of your HTML elements. So we need to put this as part of the functions of your JavaScript. So we need to erase this and of course transfer this inside the JavaScript. Of course, that's the error. Okay, let us test this program. Of course, we have here dips.txt. Remember what is the file name that we have created? So this is dips.txt. This is the display, the portion of that file that we have created. So when these programs run, automatically this will call this parameter to display this depth text. So let us run it again and save this program. When we run the program, okay, there's something wrong with the code. Okay, let us check it again and then let us check it. Okay, so we have here, of course, the variable referencing to this fetch file, that is fetch file, and at the same time we have here the await function. Of course, this is wrong. The purpose of a period is just like you're creating a method for the functions, and of course this is your method, and we have just the functions for this method D1 for the text, so that we can display the text in the browser. So we need to save this again, save, and then of course this is now the content of the program. Now let us modify the code. Of course, modify that code. Okay, so to open the depth text, let us check if it is really working. Okay, so this is now the code. This is the HTML that we have done so far. So for example, let's say P, and then this is fun to create to use the fetch API. So let us check if this the content is updated. Let us save this thing and then let us run this program. Okay, this is fun to use the fetch API. So this is working. All right. So you have to review this. This is a very simple type of programming in JavaScript. But again, this will serve as an opener for you to request some information to the server. So it's your choice if you want to use the XML HTTP request for AJAX, or maybe you can use the fetch API. So if you like this video, please share, like, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.